In one way, Klaus is like a one-man army, and if you take all the CJacks, he literally is an army. So there's that. I play a character called CJack60, who is an Epsilon in Brave New World. New London has a class system, and at the top of that system are the Alphas, and they live a life of luxury, parties, and promiscuous sex, and whatever they want to do. And at the bottom of that food chain are the Epsilons. So my character, before the story starts, is involved in, the cleaning toilets, taking out rubbish, just all the worst jobs of the society basically are delegated to the Epsilons. You'll find a lot of the Epsilons look identical. So there's a bunch of different CJacks out there that look identical to me, and I play some of those guys as well.
I think a lot of people do recognize you from your role on Vampire Diaries and the originals. Your new character, CJack60, and Klaus Mikaelson, do you think they have any similarities?
Originally I thought they were opposite ends of the scale, because here's a 1,000-year-old vampire werewolf hybrid who is sort of the self-proclaimed king of New Orleans, and obviously has some kind of Addams Family style vault with the Mikaelson money. He doesn't work, he can do whatever he wants, and he dresses very well. And then here's CJack60, who's basically the lowest of the low, the caretaker. I felt like, first of all, they're opposite ends, certainly of the social scale, but I think there are similarities. When Hope was born in the originals, there was sort of an innocence to Klaus that I found, because this was one thing he'd never experienced, the unconditional love for a child. Through all his other experiences, which were stale after 1,000 years, that was a new experience for him, that emotion.
We're not going anywhere today. I want one day of peace with my daughter.
And there's definitely an element of that innocence, of discovering emotion in that way in CJack60.
What can you say about sort of that journey for him?
Yeah, CJack60 is involved in a kind of horrific incident in the first episode of Brave New World. And because of that, he starts to question the reality of the world that he's involved in. And he starts to feel. And, all the people in New London are encouraged to suppress their emotions with this drug, Soma. And he stops taking that Soma, and he starts to wonder, well, why are we stuck doing all of these jobs? Why do I feel angry about my position in this world? When everybody else is just accepting it. He is caught up with John, who Oldham plays, and our stories kind of intertwine throughout and then very much come together at the end.
How would you say the introduction of John sort of disrupts the status quo?
John is from the Savage Lands. So in the Savage Lands, babies are still born the traditional way, and they drink and they fight and people die, and it's thought of as very savage to the people in New London. They're protected from that savage land, but when John comes to New London, he also brings with him this ideology of, you guys are more trapped than you think you are. It seems like the Alphas have everything they want, but they can't really do everything they want. They can't feel, they can't be monogamous, so they can never form any kind of lasting relationships. And so this blows CJack60's mind, because just as he'd started to question his own reality and his role within this world, here comes a guy who's saying, this system is broken and you shouldn't be doing this. You're doing everything that they want you to do. Why? Why are you doing that? And CJack60 thinks, why am I doing that? And this is the seed that grows from there.
You seem to be fascinated with dystopias dating back to even when this book was first published. What do you think that fascination is, and why do these stories seem relevant?
I think the attraction is probably the idea of, to be in a world where there are no rules, or the rules of society are being broken down. So all you have to define your actions are your own morals, what you believe in. And so suddenly there's a purity to that, I think. And there's also, I think, a simplicity to it. Like, we don't have to worry about all these paperwork and these taxes that are due and all these different things. It's a greater purpose, and they're trying to reshape the world in Brave New World.